Welcome to Live Vedanta, a podcast on simple living and high thinking with Sri Vivek Gupta, the resident guide of Chinmaya Mission, Niagara. We're currently amidst our series, Bhagavad Gita 101, and this episode we're diving further into the theme of challenges. How can we make living and working with others easier? What is the secret to not overthinking? Let's listen in on the explanation of a verse from Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 to find out.
Hari Om and greetings from Niagara Falls. Since March of 2019, the Chinmaya Setukaris, the evolving adults in London, Niagara, and Toronto, we've been meeting monthly to have satsang on different subjects that we're all going through. In March, the satsang was on growing past grief. A lot of evolving adults who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, their parents are aging, their parents are passing. How do you grow past this grief? And I shared two frameworks. I first shared the framework that Bhagwan Krishna gives Prince Arjuna, all contained in chapter 2, and that is know, K-N-O-W, VCR. Know your vastness. When one knows that they're infinite, and so is the person who's passed away, then one knows only the name and form has passed, but not the essence. The C is know changing. Anyone and everyone who's born will die also. We are organic. And not just us, everything is changing. When I know that, I'm sad, but I don't grieve. And the R is know responsibilities. When one knows their responsibilities, nothing should stop you from those responsibilities. Whether they're easy challenges or hard challenges, they are your responsibilities. So no vastness, no change, no responsibilities. The second framework I shared was based on my personal experience. And this is SIT, S-I-T. Are you annoyed with all of the acronyms that I'm perpetually sharing? Some of you are nodding yes. You know I can see you, yes? The S is give sympathy. Hold someone's hand. Hug them. Cry with them. Give sympathy helps you help someone else to grow past grief, and you would expect the same for you. I is give insights. When someone shares the insight that the purpose of living is to learn that you're more than the body, then when someone passes away, this is not a somber situation. This is a celebration. This is a graduation that they've learned, and now they have another opportunity to learn. And T is time. Give time. When new experiences are created, when new relationships are developed, then growing past grief becomes more effortless, more natural. Give sympathy, give insight, give time. I'm sharing this with you because when we have knowledge, this becomes a catalyst to application. Without knowledge, what would we apply? And even if we're applying, how do we know that's right? And this is the vision of our course, to extract knowledge. There are 700 verses of knowledge. We're extracting 35. 35 verses so that we can apply them. Quality, because sometimes quantity is difficult. The month of April, we're focusing on challenges, challenging. Applied Gita in challenging circumstances, with challenging people. And we started in chapter 15, verse 16. Infinity in Sanskrit is sometimes described as udasina. What does udasina mean? I'm waiting for our Hindi speakers to respond in the chat room. What does udasina mean? Sit above, indifferent, to be sad. So infinity is described as sad. What's the point of enlightenment then? Udasina means, asina means to sit, and ut means above. Infinity sits above all that is finite. In other words, is not affected by that which is finite. And in this verse, we had explored there's 3 perspectives. There is the most relative perspective, which we're used to. Stress, anxiety, sadness. And we were encouraged to go one perspective higher. Why all of this change is happening, this multiplicity, is because of Maya. Because of this confusion that the relative is absolute. And then we went even higher. If there's Maya, there has to be Mayapati. If there is a factor that is causing the relative to be interpreted as absolute, then we know that there has to be an absolute. How do we start going to a higher perspective? Here's how. Number 1, slow down. Slow down how you move, how you speak, how you think. If you're moving fast, you have to stay in your present perspective. But if you want to go higher, you have to slow down. All those who have been on yatras with me, when we go hiking, you slow down, no? A lot of you stop. Once you slow down, you can step back and realize that, hey, this is just my side of the story. There must be another side of the story. Slow down, step back. Once you step back, you come to see more. If you come very close to the camera, you can't see anything. But once you take a step back, you can see all of the people who don't pay attention. So that's your third S, okay? I said slow down, step back, see more. Your fourth S is smile on. Once you have that higher perspective, then you smile at this person said this to you, that person didn't look at you, I missed out on this, I got this. You smile at all of that because now you are udasina. You're sitting above this intense change. Ideally, you're sitting above Maya also. We continue. We are now on verse 33 of chapter 11. So many of the verses we're studying are popular, famous. This one especially. And this has a longer meter now. Okay? So follow along. Chapter 11, verse 33. Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva. Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva. Jitva shatrun bhungshasva rajyam samriddham. Jitva shatrum bhungshasva rajyam samriddham. Mayevete nihitaf purvameva. Mayevete nihitaf purvameva. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Savyasachi means the one. Technically, it means the one who can shoot arrows with their left hand. The implied meaning is one who has no weakness. Prince Arjuna was as strong with his left or weak hand as with his right or strong hand. This was one of the names we were considering for our children. Even though Savyasachi is described for Arjuna, if we had a girl, this is one of the running names. So if you're planning on having another child, then Savyasachi is a great name, the one with no weakness. You should change your name to that, right? The first quarter. Therefore, stand up and labhasva, gain, yashaha, reverence. Bhagavan Krishna is telling Prince Arjuna, engage in your responsibilities. And if you do, you will gain. Yasha literally means fame, but the better meaning is reverence. How does this apply to challenging circumstances, challenging beings? Throughout our Shastras, there is an ongoing message of try. In the Upanishad, the word is jagrata. Wake up. If you wake up, you can try. Or uttishta, as is shared here. Stand up. Start to move. An earlier word we studied is abhyasa, practice. If you don't try, how will you learn? Yes? If you don't try, how will you know? This is one of the fuels that took me to the Vedanta course. If I don't try to be happier, how will I know how happy I can be? Otherwise, I'm always in the same perspective, yes? This is my life. This is how I'm supposed to be. Try. When you try, you develop, you gain yasha. And yasha means to be revered. How can one be revered? As you're trying, do so respectfully. Sometimes we try in a very rash way, in a impolite way. But try respectfully. Better than that is try lovingly. As you're trying, give your best. Let other people appreciate how hard and smart you're working. When respect and love are combined, that's reverence. So through trying respectfully, lovingly, one starts to be revered. Anyone who reveres you, they will become much easier to live with, to work with. Yes? So the challenge is dissolved because you're acting like this. Jitva shatrun, win over your enemies. Bhungshasva rajyam samriddham, and enjoy this kingdom. Who is your enemy? Do you know what enemy is defined as in our scripture? The one who's constantly bothering you. So right now, Shuka's enemy is Vyasa. He's always in his face. But tell me, who's constantly bothering you? Vichara Gurukula. They keep sending so many emails, so many programs. It is your own mind. Nobody bothers you more than yourself. When you think of challenges, you make those challenges harder than they actually are. Yes? By overthinking them. What if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? Right? And as soon as you, going back to the first quarter, if you just try, if you tell the mind, shut up, I'm simply going to try. And that challenge is never as hard as you projected it to be, yes? And there's so much relief. You don't enjoy the kingdom outside, you enjoy the kingdom inside. That's what's lovely about this quarter is, if you read it literally, Prince Arjuna defeat Acharya Bhishma, defeat Acharya Drona, and you will enjoy Bharata Varsha. But much deeper than that is to not overthink. We have this habit, no? Especially now that we're all at home. How come my parent is like this? How come my sibling is like this? And you keep thinking and thinking and thinking. That happens with electronic communication too, no? Emoticons, caps lock, poor grammar. And you just keep thinking about it. Why did they say this? When you engage in your responsibilities, there's a lot of relief. Third quarter. Maye vete nihitaf purvameva. This is a deep quarter. And Bhagavan Krishna is telling Prince Arjuna, all of the people that you have to defeat have already been defeated, are already dead. You know that perpetual question that circles in Vedanta? Free will or God's will? Well, here's your answer. Who's causing these enemies to lose, to die? Is it Prince Arjuna or is it Bhagavan Krishna? Because here, unambiguously, he's saying, they're already defeated. They're already dead. How we have to work with this. Depersonalization is the secret to inspiration. As long as you make matters personal, your enthusiasm and energy will be drained. When you depersonalize the challenge, you feel more inspired, you're objective then. So that's what Bhagavan Krishna is so lovingly sharing with Prince Arjuna. You keep looking at your teacher, you keep looking at your relatives. You've personalized this. I'm asking you to depersonalize this by going from Pandava to Dharma. Focus on what is right. And in that, you start to sink in, you start to see my perspective, as in Bhagavan Krishna's. You will find the challenges in your life are because you're making and taking things personally. And if you don't make and take things personally, it's not a challenge. Think of an organization that you're working with and politics in that organization. Because of those politics, do not forget that higher perspective and you keep holding on to that lower perspective because you've made that personal, right? Do any of you watch the show Suits? Everyone in that show is making everything personal, which is why everyone's so standoffish all the time. Right? I'll simplify this. Focus on what's in your control and let happen what's not in your control. Do you control everything? If you think you do, then the next statement you're going to make is, it's because you're a perfectionist. Being a perfectionist, that's a strength or a weakness? This is a weakness. There's a wrong understanding of how much you control. Focus on what you can control and let happen what you don't control. And I'll simplify this even more. Vices and virtues are? Share in the chat room. I've said this too many times. Vices and virtues are? Unilateral. If you're an angry person towards someone, that person you're angry towards doesn't have to be angry back. And the same goes if you're patient towards someone, they don't have to be patient back. What do you control? Your own mind. What don't you control? Everyone else's mind. Yes? And that leads to the fourth quarter. And this is the most practical aspect of this verse. Nimitta matram. Become a instrument. Become my instrument, as in Bhagavan Krishna's instrument. If you think of an orchestra, how many instruments are in an orchestra? A lot. Vyasa had a music class today. So at one point, the teacher unmutes all of those toddlers. And all of those toddlers have to bring an instrument. So imagine how frightening that orchestra is. I had to calm Shuka down. I had to hold him because there's just a ruckus going on. Now, in an orchestra, the piano can only create a piano sound, not a drum sound, yes? The drum can only create this bass-like sound, not like that of a flute. Be my instrument. I am the conductor. And you are a instrument. And focus on that. Do that well. And in doing that well, you will be more efficient, more effective, more enlightened. I'll make this deeper. One of the hardest parts of our personality to change is this sense of doership. Yes? Kartritva. I did this, I'm doing this, I will do this. And so Bhagavan Krishna is sharing here, how do you loosen that doership is instrumentship. A doer feels, I'm fully in control. I'm the conductor. Instrumentship is where I'm not fully in control, I'm partially in control. There's as if some free will and as if some God will. The next transition is to observership. From instrumentship to observership, where you're not the conductor, but you're listening to this orchestra. This Sakshi Bhava. Watch the body. Watch the thoughts. And the evolution from observership is beership. I'm confident that's not a real word, but you get it, yes? Or now you're being. In observing, there's still two entities. In being, There's only oneness, only Advaita. So doership, instrumentship, observership, beership. So here in the middle of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna is sharing, relax, Arjuna. You are an instrument, so be an instrument. You're taking on the burden of this whole war. We take on the burden of the whole world. There are so many of you who have shared with me that you watch the news all the time. You listen to the radio all the time. You read articles all the time, especially about COVID. Is it helping you? I feel that slowly destroying your brain cells and making your mind more of an enemy. That's why your raw from Meaningful Mornings, your rad from Meaningful Mornings was no audio input. Do not listen to the news today. What can you really do? You can give your effort, your time, your resources. I was sharing this with Sheila today. She also has observed that so many people are infatuated. They're obsessed with the news, and it's hurting their mental health. She knows lots of people. I know lots of people. And I shared with her that about me. Effort-wise, I'm investing effort to be udasina, to be sad, to be balanced. I'm investing time. With everyone being at home, more programs have developed, more accessibility, yes? There's so many of you who are not part of the Applied Gita course, but now you are, yes? And I'm happy to see all of you. And resources. We've raised $12,500 for youth in Niagara. We've raised $12,500 for the food bank in Albany. And now the upcoming Sankalpa is to raise $12,500 for domestic violence in Cleveland. And my point is that resources are being given to what else can one do? Yes. And so you sleep well then. You feel good about yourself. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Be my instrument. This works for everyone. Let's read through this verse again, remembering whatever points relate to you. Not being a perfectionist, shifting to being an instrument, allowing to happen unilateral. Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrum bhungshasva rajam samriddham mayevete nihitaf purvameva nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin.
If you enjoyed what you heard or want to learn more, share this episode with a friend or find us online at facebook.com/cmniagara. For those on the journey of self-development, Chinmaya Mission Niagara provides a community forum for seekers to listen, reflect, and contemplate. This podcast is produced by the Young Adults of Chinmaya Mission, an international nonprofit working to transform individuals through the knowledge of Vedanta. Until next time, inspire, love, be.